The following is a hockey podcast out of Vancouver and Surrey, British Columbia. It'll only consist of a lot of puck talk and even more BS, or in actual words, banter and satire. Enjoy, and as always, go Canucks go.
Yo, Rick Tocchet needs to learn from a guy named Spencer Cranberry? Cadbury? What's this guy? ECHL'er? What are we doing here?
You're Locked On Canucks, your daily podcast on the Vancouver Canucks, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hey, welcome to another episode of Locked On Canucks. My name is Trevor Beggs, co-host of Locked On Canucks and also a Canucks writer currently with Daily Hive Vancouver. Before we dive into the show, we got to start off by thanking you for tuning into Locked On Canucks, because it is your Canucks every damn day, and we're not here without you tuning in, baby. But man, oh man, these Vancouver Canucks, the gauntlet is about to begin. And it starts tonight against the Washington Capitals. And yeah, a dude named Spencer Cranberry. No, actually, it's Spencer Carbury. I'll tell you what, he's got bigger cranberries below the belt than I do, man. This guy has made quite an impression on me, but certainly on the Washington Capitals and that organization. And it's led to them having one of the best records in the NHL, 4th overall in points, 2nd overall in points percentage. And man, oh man, this guy who never got above being in the ECHL might teach the NHL's Gordie Howe hat-trick leader and Rick Tocchet a lesson tonight. So what can Rick Tocchet learn from Spencer Carbury? What's going on with the Washington Capitals? And how can the Canucks avoid or survive this gauntlet, I should say, and save their season? Let's get into all that to kick off the show. Before I do so, let me introduce my co-host, another guy with bigger cranberries than me below the belt, Kyle Bowen. How's it going, brother?
I'm doing pretty good, and it's interesting that you noted the whole bigger cranberry things below the belt, because like the other day I was shopping for protection, and now they got sizes on. Now they got sizes on the boxes of protection. They used to only have them for the Magnums, right? You just know those are the XLs. Like, you ain't touching those. Okay, Kyle? Keep dreaming. But now they got sizes on every box. I'm like, we're 2025, bro. Like, this is crazy, man. What a time. The future is here. Hey, this future is here.
You tell me they have small sizes? I'm not just curious.
I think they have like large and extra large and like medium and stuff. I was just surprised. I didn't want to look long and hard at the section because I started to get insecure. Okay. Anyways,
okay. I got a very good story about extra large condoms. I'll tell you on the other side. But let's get into it.
Speaking of stories, okay.
Off the rails early. I like it.
Speaking of stories, if you watch the last 2 episodes of Locked On Canucks, you could see it in my eyes that I was really going through something. And yesterday was one of the darkest days of my life. And I was so hungover via all the Canucks losing that something really bad happened to me. So maybe I'll tell that story at the end of the episode, because we got to talk about how the Washington Capitals can teach the Vancouver Canucks something, and specifically speaking, their coach teaching our coach a lesson. And I know you can't compare these two teams completely, but man, oh man, you talk about the Washington Capitals last year. They surprised a lot of teams. They made the playoffs. A lot of people talking about how they were the luckiest team in NHL history to make the playoffs. But hey, they made the playoffs, quote unquote, had a good season. How have they bounced back from that good season? They've hit a grand slam. The Canucks last year hit a grand slam, and how have they bounced back? Mediocrity. Right? Well, what's the answer? How did they do it, and how are we not doing it? Okay, injuries have a lot to do with it, but last time I checked, no Backstrom, no Oshie, a lot of no Ovechkin as well. Pretty sure they've been missing one of their best defensemen for quite some time during the season at points too. Okay, like they've gone through their ish too. That being said, if you listen to Donnie and Dally's interview with Spencer Cranberry yesterday, he talks about how cohesive and how tight that group is. How they're all bought in for the crest. Tocchet always talking about the crest too, but it's quite apparent that the boys in that locker room, our locker room, they're not bought in completely. That's step number one. Step number two is the offensive explosion that Washington can show, and that's something that Tocchet's wanted to do, and they've been able to pull it off. So Trevor, like, I know I threw a lot out at you there, but again, I just feel as if Tocchet and Cranberry might have to go out for like a beer after the game, because Cranberry, a West Coast guy, Tocchet, a coach from the West Coast, like there could be a friendship here, and some learning lessons could be had.
Oh, well, they're two of the sexiest ball dudes in the NHL, that's for sure, man. But Let me touch a bit more on Spencer Carbury first, and I'll get into more about the Washington Capitals. But it's interesting kind of diving into a bit more of Spencer Carbury's background because there are a lot of similarities between what we heard about Tocchet, especially last year, and what you hear about Spencer Carbury. And I think one of the main ones is, this is from The Athletic, just there's a whole barrage of guys interviewed about his coaching style. And one of the big things that came up with Spencer Carbury can be a bit of a hard ass. He does make some tough decisions. So more on that in a second. But one of the first things he does with guys is like, how's your girlfriend doing? How's your wife doing? How's your family doing? And that's something that Tocchet has preached all along. Like, you got to have a relationship with your players. You can't just go in there and be a drill sergeant. It doesn't work anymore. You can be a hard ass, but you got to at least get the respect of the guys in that room. And I think Tocchet had the respect last year. And again, it leads me to believe that, there's some things to quibble with this coaching decisions, but there seems definitely to be a bigger issue with the Canucks locker room beyond that. But in terms of Spencer Carbury there, look, I mean, this guy never made it past the ECHL, and in fact, never wanted to be a coach at all. Basically, his coach in his last ECHL season asked Spencer Carbury if he was ever interested in coaching. He said no, and he said, I'd like to play one more year. And the guy said, I'm not asking you to play one more year. I'm asking you to coach. So he knew at that point his career was more or less over. Was never making it to the AHL, never mind the NHL, and was getting cut from the ECHL. So he decided to start coaching at that point. And then from there, he worked his way up the ranks. He took the Washington minor league team, and he had a crazy record over his first 3 seasons down there. I don't have it in front of me quite, but it was something like 101 wins and 50 losses. I believe they might have won a Calder Cup in there as well. A lot of the top Capitals prospects right now, like Connor McMichael, Hendrix Lapierre, they work with the Spencer Carbury down in the minors too. So he's had a profound impact at a number of different levels of the organization. And one of the things that I see here is that, the guy he works his butt off, right? Not to say that Tocchet doesn't, but there's a story here that with some of the guys on the Washington Capitals, when they needed to work on their skating, Carbury would go there early at practice with some of these guys and work on them with their skating one-on-one. Like, how often have we seen an NHL head coach go out there early at practice to help guys with their skating? To me, that is a bit of an oddity, and it kind of shows you the kind of coach that Spencer Carbury is.
Damn, you're in love with this guy. You think Rick Tocchet is the worst
Rick
coach,
Tocchet
man?
And Spencer Carbury.
Damn, dude. This guy's doing more than Rick Tocchet. I can't answer that last question because I've never been in the NHL, and I've also never been at an NHL practice. That being said, it seems as if Carbury has this ability to lead with efficiency. You know what I'm saying? And right now, I think it's safe to say that Rick Tocchet, I don't think he's lost the room. I don't even think he's close to losing the room, but I think Rick Tocchet is in a mess right now with what's been going on in that room, and he's not pushing the right buttons. And if he's not pushing the right buttons in the room, then what he has to do is push the right buttons in the lineup, and he also hasn't been able to do that efficiently. I know he's been dealing with a lot of injuries, but come on, like, we know it. This guy's been making mistakes with his lineups for like 20 to 40% of the year, straight up. So what that leads to is the Canucks not having the recipe, right? The recipe that they need to help keep the band together, and that's winning, because winning fixes everything. And we haven't been able to do that. We've lost more games this year than we have won. So it's one of those things. And I think before we can get to having a more cohesive bunch and having, again, Tocchet be that glue guy in the room, again, these guys are professional athletes. They're in the NHL. It's all about winning. He's got to win some games. And I wonder, again, if, and we're about to see this, I don't know if you've seen or had the fancy stats in front of you and whatnot, but Washington scores a lot of goals.
Yeah.
I don't know how much they generate, but they score a lot of goals. And Rick Tocchet, for the better part of his coaching career with Vancouver, has preached structure, the puzzle pieces, blah, blah, blah. Has also preached girthiness in the back end, tall defensemen. Let's put some trees back there. Who cares about passing the puck? Let's just be hard to play against. And I hope that Rick Tocchet gets a bit of a wake-up call and realizes that if your best players on your team are offensively inclined, like, that's their biggest trait, then lean into that and don't lean into Noah Juleson and what Vincent Darnay can do. No, straight up. So again, I'm curious to see how Washington plays and if Tocchet can take some X's and O's and implement them here in Vancouver.
Yeah, we'll see. Again, I think that one of the NHL goats might be learning a lesson from an ECHL All-Star tonight. Not even ECHL All-Star, but a dude who might be the front runner right now to win the Jack Adams
Yo,
Trophy. Take it away from another bald guy in Rick Tocchet.
Trevor, I think we're on the phone here bringing up how like Washington kind of looks like Vancouver when it comes to like their PDO numbers and all that stuff. Not to just stroke off Washington this whole episode and just talk about them. Like, and I know we've had different pieces, and maybe the answer is just that, right? Like we had Ian Cole last year, and now we have Noah Juleson and Vincent Darnay. But like stylistically, or just specifically speaking, like is there like something easy the Canucks can implement to just turn things around? Like, what were we doing 12 months ago? Not 12 months ago, but what were we doing like 14 months ago that we just forgot how to do?
Yeah, I mean, a big thing for me is it relates to the defense, is moving the puck up the ice and protecting the home plate area on the ice. And I don't think the Canucks have done a great job of that. Their expected goals against numbers are fine, but what we've seen with this team, especially in the last 10 games, as they choke away those multi-goal leads, is that when they get a lead, they seem to be forgetting how to play defense, and they're just giving up the home plate areas, and they just struggle so hard to move the puck up the ice right now. In the offensive zone, I do think they're similar to last season. They tried to go quality over quantity and go east-west, but they just don't seem to have the mojo right now. That was working for them last season. But to me, the biggest thing that can be fixed on this team is getting back to protecting the home plate area of the ice and getting some defensemen in the lineup that can move the puck up the goddamn ice.
On that note, maybe on the other side, we'll touch on Philip Hronek becoming an Abbotsford Canuck. All right, you're listening to Locked On Canucks. Yeah, have fun watching the game tonight, guys. Honestly, like again, wait till you hear the story about what happened to me in a couple of minutes. But last night, I've been not last night, last afternoon, I really let the Canucks losses get to me, and yeah, dude, my relationship is suffering, and I guess I'm not going to Cactus Club with my girl anymore. So we'll talk more about this in a couple of minutes. But don't be a loser because your favorite team is losing. Okay, that's my message to the people.
That's a good message, man. And hey, you can't be a loser when you use our sponsors here. And that sponsor is FanDuel, baby. Well, you could be a loser, but with FanDuel, if you are a new customer, all you got to do is bet $5 and get $200 in bonus bets guaranteed. That's $200 in bonus bets, win or lose on FanDuel. The FanDuel app gives you everything you need for live bets, same game parlays, and so much more. Now, I'm not sure what the odds are for this game tonight. I'm going to look it up quickly, but I was on Money Puck earlier today. And the Canucks, man, oh man, they are, according to Money Puck, have a 35% chance of winning tonight against the Washington Capitals, which makes sense just based on the state of our team and the fact that Washington, again, has the second best points percentage in the NHL right now. Basically, the Canucks have the same odds as the Chicago Blackhawks do against the Colorado Avalanche tonight. Crazy stuff there. Again, it's been the Vancouver Canucks, not quite the same team they were before. And sure enough, on the money line tonight, the Canucks are plus 155 to win against the Washington Capitals. The Capitals minus 188 as well. The over-under on goals plus 104. That might be something I like tonight. So if there's less than 5 goals in this game, you would win more than double your money on FanDuel plus 104. And again, looks like the Capitals, no matter who they play, they seem to have one of the best goaltending tandems in the league with Charlie Lindgren and Logan Thompson. Looks like we're going to get Thompson tonight, who was 16-2-2 this season. Lankinen looks like he's in net for Vancouver. And Lankinen does have one of the best road records in the NHL. But no matter what bets you're placing, make sure you do so on FanDuel. FanDuel, go check them out on FanDuel.com.
People, we back doing this. That's talking about your Vancouver Canucks here at the Don't Doze Art Lab. Trevor Beggs, Kyle Bound, Locked On Canucks. And speaking of the people and the people and the people, let's get to some comments. I really loved this comment from Gigatronic, okay? Will Quinn Hughes play in the Four Nations with his hand injury, right? He's playing for the Canucks right now, being the captain of the Vancouver Canucks. He kind of has to, okay? The ship is kind of sinking a little, and we kind of need him. Okay, it's the same reason why Filip Hronek is coming back early too. I hear all these things about, oh, we're rushing him back. You know what? Let them rush back. Okay, we need them right now. It is what it is. These guys are being leaders. They're playing hurt. All that being said, if Quinn Hughes is at like 90% or 85% going into February because he's playing with like a Iron Man type hand, or like whatever type of equipment he has on his hand right now, it looks kind of scary. I'm not gonna lie. He's playing with an injury. Yeah. Trevor, should he play in the Four Nations Cup if that's still the case?
I mean, look, if he's healthy enough to play NHL games, he's going to play in the Four Nations Cup. I don't see this guy just shutting it down if he plays a bunch of games.
No. There's an argument here, okay? It's the Four Nations Cup. I know it's the first best on best tournament in quite some time, but the Olympics are what, next year? Is it next year in 2 years?
Yeah, but you got to remember, man, these guys got a lot of pride, right? He was one of like the 6 players listed off the team from the jump. Okay, this isn't just a guy who got named to the roster a month ago. He was named to the team almost a year ago. I have a really hard time seeing Quinn Hughes backing down unless he is truly injured enough to the point where he's not playing NHL games. And goddamn, I hope that's not the case.
Well, we might again. He could skate, he could do his thing, he'd handle the puck, but I wonder if he's going to shoot the puck less, which is ironic because the team needs to shoot the puck more. And I wouldn't be surprised if Quinn Hughes leads his team of shots. Like, real talk. Anyways, next call. Look at this, okay, Oliver, man. Rick Tocchet, are you watching this? Lean into your strengths, Rick Tocchet. Anyways, Tocchet loves trees, but his best player is a tiny defenseman. Okay, that tiny defenseman we just talked about, Quinn Hughes. He's about to get maybe his best friend back sooner than we think. Again, Filip Hronek, playing in Abbotsford now, a conditioning stint, which means he's probably coming back sooner than later. Let's be honest. Like, we're not making that move if we have to wait till the end of January to see him. I think there's a good chance that Filip Hronek is back with the team against LA or the Oilers, straight up when this road trip ends. So on that note, you can reply to that too if you think I'm wrong, but let's say he is back against the Kings or in the middle of January or against the Oilers or whatever. What are the chances that he doesn't play with Quinn Hughes? Because I think it's pretty high.
Yeah, I think so too, just based on the way things are going right now. I can see the argument both ways. The fact that, him and Hughes have been so good together. They dominate those minutes. They play 40% of the game, but especially if Hughes isn't healthy, I think there's a better chance they split them up. And yeah, man, the rest of the defense has been a bit of a mess. So I do wonder if there's an argument that maybe Hronek gets more to Soucy's game. Hughes and Myers have been fine together, and then Brancham and Desharnais looked fine in their third pairing minutes. Like, maybe that is the recipe for the Vancouver Canucks, because it is just a mess right now. Soucy, Juleson, Forbert, you guys pick it up tonight. Come on. And hey, maybe we'll even see the return of Eric Brancham. It's been too long since we've seen him in the lineup. But still, regardless, Kyle, I mean, we're grasping at straws here, because what the Canucks should have done in the offseason is add another defenseman, and they failed to do that. And Kyle, like, I'm looking back at both July 1st, 2024 and the Washington Capitals roster right now. As Mother Nucker says in the comments, Carlson, Jacob Chychrun, and Rasmus Sandin are nice on their back end. Jacob Chychrun for the Washington Capitals this season has 28 points and 11 goals in 35 games. He's on pace to be one of the highest scored defensemen in the league this season. And oh yeah, this is still a team that has John Carlson on their roster. Like, they got a defense that produces offense right now. Not to mention some guys like Rasmus Sandin and Matt Waugh, who they targeted specifically, who are stepping up to be really good defensive defenders for them as well. So they got a really rock solid defense back there in Washington. I think you saw that on paper heading into this season, but still a lot of people, myself included, believe that this was just kind of a mid-team at best. But they've obviously picked up and found another gear. But circling back to Jacob Chychrun quick, Kyle, tell me the Canucks couldn't have beat this offer. The Washington Capitals acquired Jacob Chychrun from the Ottawa Senators on July 1st for a third-round pick and Nick Jensen. What a freaking awful trade! Like, is Pierre Dorion still in the GM department in Ottawa? I mean, I know that Steve Stales wanted to come in and make changes, but by God, that is an awful trade. And that's a trade the Canucks should have beat.
Oh yeah, they could have given Soucy a third-round pick, right? Straight up. They could have done that. And look at this comment from Green, okay? Soucy only played 4 shifts in the third period of a must-win game against Montreal the other night when Quinn Hughes was battling injury. Again, Carson Soucy has taken such a step back, and I believe 2 things on that Chychrun note, okay? I don't think the Canucks knew that trade was available, right? That's often the case when the team gets smoked in a trade, or there's some overthinking happening in Ottawa, and they kind of think that they need to get Chikrin out because I'm not going to say he's a bit of a cancer, but, he didn't want to stay there long term, boom, bam, trying to get guys like that out. They get Jensen in, he kind of fits the bill, blah, blah, blah. Whatever. They theoretically speaking, they thought they made the right choice. They didn't. All that being said, let's say the Canucks did get an offer of Chikrin for Soucy in a third. I wonder if Alvin would have done it. Because maybe they thought Soucy was going to get way better. Like maybe they thought, like they assumed that based on this team's record with Soucy in the lineup, there was something more there. Because remember, Soucy was pretty good for 90%, 95%. I would say really good for 95% of the time he was on the ice last year. But his step back, like we need to study it. Like where's Ian McIntyre's piece with Carson Soucy? Yo, Carson Soucy is so lucky, so lucky that there's just all this noise about Pettersson and Miller and Demko's injury. Real talk. Because this guy needs to feature. We need to know why he's taking such a step back. On that note, Pettersson, and I don't know if you want to add to the Soucy thing if you want, but I got to say something else about the people you work for too. I don't know if real talk, man. I saw something today. I didn't like it. But anyways, the Soucy thing's a big problem for the Canucks. It really is.
Yeah, 100%. And going back to your question, I think the Canucks, goddamn, they should have done that trade if that was even an option. The only thing that gives me trepidation about it, because I think Soucy in a third for Chychrun's no-brainer. The only thing that might have given the Canucks some pause is the fact that Chychrun is in the last year of his sweetheart deal, paying him $4.6 million a season. He's in line for a pretty massive raise on a team that's got, OEL and Mikheyev taking up 5.5 next season. So that might be the only reason that they wouldn't have done it. But we're talking December 2024. I mean, if that was on the table now, of course they would have done it because look at this defense. It's terrible, man. And, the Washington Capitals, I think they just deserve a ton of credit for the roster building that they've done, right? Rosterbation, baby. The Washington Capitals, in my eyes, have done everything that Jim Benning wanted to do. They've retooled on the fly. They've identified guys. They've brought them in. You look at Rasmus Sandin. You look at Nick Dowd, who they took from the Canucks for peanuts. I know that was, a few years back now. Even the Pierre-Luc Dubois trade in the summer was a bit risky. Sonny Milano, he's injured right now, but he's been making some noise for them. And Andrew Mangiapane hasn't had the biggest impact, but, he's been pretty good. Alexei Protas has been amazing. Like, they've just been able to rebuild this team on the fly here. Not to mention the two goalies they have in net. My God, Charlie Lindgren and Logan Thompson have been so good for this team. And the Canucks are facing the better of the two tonight, Logan Thompson. So, I mean, tell me I'm wrong, man. Like, the Washington Capitals did everything that Jim Benning wanted us to do. Retool on the fly, baby.
Okay, there you go. Bringing up Jim Benning. That's how dark it's getting, okay? We don't have to go there, Trevor. I'm just recovering from my depression with the Canucks over the last couple of days and whatnot, okay? All in all, though, can I say this? I think I've had enough, man. I always say this, but I think I've had enough, right? The other yesterday, it comes out, and it's the truth because, a Pittsburgh reporter wrote about Zibanejad for Miller. That was the offer. Oh, the Pittsburgh reporter's probably talking ish. I'm pretty sure this is the same guy who's like best friends with Jim Rutherford. So put like 2 and 2 together. It's probably true. Makes sense too. You look at the age, the dollar amount. Like that type of offer was offered, and obviously the Canucks would say no. And now I'm seeing the Daily Hive talk about how there's like some Boston reporter or something, or maybe it was like a different reporter saying that the Bruins are interested in Pettersson or Miller, one or the other. Obviously, they need centerman, right? And you should read that article, man. I think Noah wrote it, and there's a bunch of names in that article, like who the Bruins could offer. I'm not saying Noah insisted that like this could be an offer and this is a good offer. You just listen out the names, and dude, come on, like what are we even doing here? There's no chance that Boston can put together any sort of trade offer for one of those guys. Let's get over it. They don't have the pieces. Let's stop doing this. Let's stop doing this.
Let me quickly touch on that, and then we'll get to break here because I want to hear your stories on the other side. And I got my ECHL'er column story to share.
Yeah. Okay.
This isn't just Daily Hive. This is every media organization. Like, we are in a world where money is tight across all these publications, and you get paid based on views, right? So, I mean, that's not just Daily Hive. That is an industry-wide, journalism-wide problem, and it's the reason why you see a lot of talk like that out there. That's what I'll say on that. Let's cut to break. Speaking of money, man, we got to get paid. So let's cut to break and shout out our friends over at FanDuel. Did I say FanDuel? I meant Gametime, baby. For Gametime, okay, it's 2025, and my New Year's resolution is to get to more live events, okay? Whether it's sports, music, theater, or comedy. I gotta, spend this Locked On money to have a good time in life, baby. And Game Time, they're good at helping me spend my money, okay? And they made it even easier to get tickets to your favorite live events with the new feature called Game Time Picks. This feature filters out the fluff to show you only incredible deals on great seats, so you don't have to waste time searching through thousands of tickets. And Kyle, I was looking at some concert tickets, some Canucks tickets the other day. Man, oh man, your birthday's coming up, man. So I gotta treat you in case in case your girl decides not to treat you, bro.
My birthday's coming up?
Yeah, like 5 months from now.
Okay.
I shop early, buddy. I shop early for you, buddy.
There you go. I like it.
I make sure to take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time, and you should do the same. Go download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONNHL for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code LOCKEDONNHL for $20 off. Download Game Time today. What time is it? Game Time.
People, we back doing this, and that's talking about your Vancouver Canucks. My name is Kyle Bowen. That right there is Trevor Beggs, and we did it, man. We did it. 26 minutes of conversation and not a lot of negativity, not talking about losing, not talking about mediocrity too much. We're talking about solutions, okay, Trevor? We're getting older. I'm losing hair, and I can't afford more of what happened last night, or again, yesterday evening, afternoon. I forgot, like 4 or 5 o'clock. I got effed, okay? Again, my girl's going to get mad at me because even though one of my resolutions was to be way more romantic this year and shivel it up, bring up my courting to another level, that's going to have to wait because my car got towed last night for the first time. And it's because I was foggy the whole day. You saw me. Look at my face in yesterday's episode. You knew I was out of it. I should have been in bed all day. I would have saved myself, $400, $350 if I just stayed in bed. But there I was, parking my car in a place that, offered free 2-hour parking, only till 3. I didn't read the only till 3 part. Next thing you know, after doing a lot of reading yesterday, because I had to recover, so I was reading Ready Player 2. I don't know if you know what that book's about. It's a scary book. Don't read it if you're not prepared. But I was reading that book, put in an extra hour or 2. I was about to leave the cafe at 3. I'm like, you know what? Let me put another hour of reading. I want to escape. Boom, bam, did that. Felt good. Felt alive because reading saves lives. And I walked back to the place where I parked my car, and it was gone. It was gone, dude. And I was like, you know what? Maybe I parked somewhere else. Maybe I'm just stupid right now. So I walked some more and I realized that, yeah, I screwed up and my car got towed. And if the Canucks didn't lose against Montreal and blow another multi-goal lead, that wouldn't have been the case. But at the same time, I got to be accountable and just blame myself and be better. And instead of reading books, I should read the signs.
Yeah, that's what happens with the Canucks. I'm worried about you, buddy. Like, I think people know we stopped talking for like 2 years when Jim Benning took over the Canucks because you just you didn't want the Canucks in your life at all, man. You cut me out, you cut the Canucks out.
Yeah,
and it was about 2 years till we reunited, buddy. So, man, it's a dangerous time in your life when the Canucks are losing games. So, you listen out there, it's just a game, all right. Take care of yourselves, man. My God. But that being said, it's a tumultuous time in Canuck land.
Mm-hmm.
And SK93 in the comments saying that Utah has scouts at at Canucks games recently. They could be a dark horse in the Miller Petey trade, according to SK93. A little insider information here, and he suggests maybe Logan Cooley coming back. Kyle, do you want any part of a trade for Miller or Pettersson that involves Logan Cooley coming back?
Probably. Because Cooley's pretty cool, to be honest. Like he's a dog. He's got the sauce. I think he's put up pretty good numbers this year, really good numbers this year, considering he's still a second-year player. And just remember that preseason goal he scored last year. Like this guy could make hockey cool, very cool again. And on that note, like why would Utah even do that? I know Miller's really good. I know, and Miller's got the attitude. He's got the FU, all that stuff. 99-point player, 100-point player, sure, whatnot. But like Logan Cooley in today's NHL is not far away from producing that much offense as well, in my opinion. Guy's like 21, isn't he?
Yeah, exactly. And if you look at it, he has more points than JT Miller and Elias Pettersson this year. 10 goals, 34 points in 39 games. I think if you redid that 2022 draft where Slafkovsky went number 1 overall, I like Slafkovsky, but I think there's a chance that Logan Cooley ends up being the best player to come out of that draft. I'll say as well, like, if there's a chance of getting Logan Cooley for either Miller or Pettersson, like I'm intrigued by that. I think Logan Cooley is going to be a hell of a player in this NHL for a long time to come. Why Utah would do it? I mean, Pettersson is just the more evolved version of Logan Cooley at this point. I think Pettersson's better. I think they're both better goal scorers than Logan Cooley, but his playmaking is sublime. And Miller for Cooley, man, oh man. I mean, this connection would be a little softer.
Okay.
But again, you're trading a 32-year-old for a 21-year-old. I mean, there's some intrigue there. So I don't know. I'm tossing the hypotheticals out there, man. I want to see a reaction. I want to see how the people react. But
I know.
That's an interesting one.
I got a more real hypothetical here, one that really matters instead of us just spending all of our time on this conversation talking about other players. Okay, let's just talk about the guys that play for us. Okay, that have signed with us for 8 years. Let's talk about Elias Pettersson and let me know in the comments. Okay, let's end the conversation on this note because Elias Pettersson's a game time decision. Look, I don't know what type of injury this guy's going through, but he's practiced a lot recently. Okay, and again, I went through a Canucks hangover yesterday and I still showed up to work and it cost me $400. Okay. I had to fight through the pain and stuff happens. So I want to say this, Elias Pettersson, you got to play tonight. Look at what Quinn Hughes is doing. You got to play tonight. It's the truth. And I'm not questioning his toughness because this guy played through tendonitis and all that stuff. All I'm trying to say is in this specific moment, the team's kind of crumbling and we need to just move on. And how do you move on? You move on with wins and you move on with better players. And we need Pettersson in the lineup today. So this whole game time decision stuff, just play today. Play today. Push it. Because you're facing one of the best teams in hockey and the team needs you. And again, Quinn Hughes is playing with one hand. Come on. I'm not going to, again, I don't want to say toughen up. Because, again, Elias Pettersson is tough. But, suck it up and play tonight. Holy, that's dark.
Suck it up and play tonight, and maybe Pettersson could use those some confidence. Maybe he could use those Magnums XL that my dad took away back in the day.
What
let me tell the story quickly. I actually don't remember how I got them, but when I was a teenager, I had some Magnum XLs. I think someone gave them to me. I couldn't remember, but I was starting to get it on at that time, so I could use them. In high school, I guess I got caught with that 420 friendly stuff at the house. My dad started raiding my room, and he found my Magnum XLs, and he goes, "Son, you don't need these." And I was like, "What are you saying, Dad?"
Nah.
What are you saying?
He knew because he's your
confidence
father. He's your father,
exactly.
man. DNA. So he knows.
Yeah. So anyways, man, my confidence has been crushed since then. Cheering for the Vancouver Canucks hasn't helped.
Dude.
But the gauntlet begins tonight, right? 8 in the next 9 games against some of the best teams in the NHL. The Washington Capitals quickly have been, they're riding a bit of a PDO wave. They're second in goals. 19th overall in shots. They have one of the best goaltending tandems in the league, especially with Logan Thompson. So in that sense, they're the 23-24 Canucks, but they are a hardworking team, lines 1 through 4. And in the present moment, they are a very dangerous team. So we need to see the Canucks at least put up a fight tonight, and having Elias Pettersson back would help.
Get the win. Put up a fight. Get the win. We need a win. Let's beat one of the best teams in hockey. Let this be the moment. Dude, no more moral victories, man. Pick up 2 points and do so with bliss and let me live my life. Please and thank you, man. For real. Please and thank you. Crazy, man. I'm getting a little insecure, man. I was daydreaming about this the other day. What if I was buying some rubbers, had my girl with me because we're at the grocery store, and I was picking on my rubbers, and then some other man comes through the section and buys the Magnums while my girl's right beside me. Imagine that. Kyle Bound, Trevor Beggs, Locked On Canucks. Hit the like button. It really does help us out a lot. Go Canucks, go. Just pick up the 2 points. No more moral victories. Elias Pettersson played at 9. Let's get a win. And if we're going to lose today, let's let Ovechkin score 22 goals tonight and break the record or whatever he needs. Honestly, straight up, pull the I don't care. My name's Kyle Bound. Hit the like button. Hey, join the Discord. Link in the bio. We're 4 more away from 100 members to the Discord. That would be kind of cool. I'm not going to lie. Beggsy, do what you got to do and sign us out. Go Canucks, go.
Yeah, Kyle, I think you took care of it. Go like, subscribe on YouTube. Go follow us. Leave a 5-star review on the podcast side. Again, we appreciate the hell out of all you for tuning into Locked On Canucks. Man, oh man, we should be back post-game talking about a Canucks victory on Hump Day, baby. Let's go. I'm Trevor Guys. That guy's Gal Bound, and you've been listening to Locked On Canucks.
You're Locked On Canucks, your daily podcast on the Vancouver Canucks, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.